Yeah, sorry for that. Thank you all for staying. So there was probably an L stem in Ugaritic as well. So fa'ala, like the third stem in Arabic, but this is a little bit harder to know for sure. Ugaritic had moods in its verbs. So tafalu, tafala, tafal, just like Arabic, or just what we think it is just like Arabic. So the المضارع المرفوع المنصوب المجزوم المؤكد and so on. Just like Arabic, Ugaritic has distal deixis with ka. So something like in Arabic, huna here, hunaka there, uh, this, ذلك, that, or something like that. Ugaritic has just this, hanadi, hanadika, something like that. Both Ugaritic and Arabic have this distinction between the GT, which has the first radical of the verb before the T, but TD, which has the first radical of the verb after the T. So in Arabic, it's iftala as opposed to tafa'ala. Perhaps same thing in Ugaritic as well. This is different from the other languages, as we've already seen. Akkadian and modern South Arabian always infix their T's, while Ethio-Semitic always prefixes it. Both Ugaritic and Arabic have this interesting feminine suffix ai or something like that. In Arabic, it's just a with an alif maksura. Maqsura. That's interesting. I don't know. And the ordinals for the numerals are probably in pa'il form, like Arabic, like also Ge'ez. So, and unlike Canaanite, for example, in which, well, it's usually in the Katili form, like Shalishi, Revi'i, Hamishi, but there are also other forms. Any question? Nothing. Great. And this is a little bit from the syllabische Befund, just the syllabic evidence for construct state having a case. So we have nidnu lugal or something like that. But never mind. Another thing that is interesting in Ugaritic is that it has a lot of dual forms and specifically a first person dual, which does not exist in Arabic. It might have some relics in Akkadian, but we know this mostly from modern South Arabian, which has a first dual form always. But I don't know. Another thing that is weird in Ugaritic and people usually point out is that there is a partial shift of this consonant, the ta or va in Arabic or something like that, to ghain. So, for example, in this word for to keep or to watch, natar, has changed into nagar. This word for to be thirsty, tama, has changed into rama. This has not happened across the board. There is still a letter for this ta or va or something. And some verbs have it regularly, but some verbs regularly have ghain instead. No one knows why. There have been several different suggestions, but that doesn't really matter. Any question?
Can we see from the evidence that it has evolved, or it's just how, like, we see it in some words and some words we don't?
That's a very good question. I think it's the latter. I think we see it since it's only 200 years, you can see some evolution of the language, but not that much, unfortunately. And I believe that this is from the very beginning, appears in some words and in some not. And there are just a few words that have both, like sometimes that, sometimes that. But most words have just one. I don't know. I think Hunegard has just written an article about this that he thinks this happened before the vowel U, but I don't know. Any other question?
The same letter is appears in other words with ta, like in Lutfanu El and Lutfanu El. They are both attested in Ugaritic.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes you can see a ta as well instead, and sometimes you can see a tsadi instead, and or instead of tsa. But this is more common, I guess. That's why people mostly talk about it. But you can see ta as well. It's just a little bit rarer. Okay. So the sources people should be using for Ugaritic are the grammar of Troppe, Ugaritische Grammatik, and the dictionary of Del Olmolete and San Martin. Or there's also a dictionary of Troppe. It's very, very concise, but it's nice. And KTU is the book that has all of the Ugaritic texts. And this is from it, this picture. And we can try and read a letter just to get some kind of hold or feeling how this language is. Since you have knowledge in other Semitic languages, I don't think it should be that hard. Some of these words are special for Ugaritic, but you can catch them quite quickly, I believe. So tahomu means like uh, the saying of or something like that, or like the letter of. And this is a name of a person, Talmiyan, to another name of a person, my mother. And the Rigmu, like Akkadian Ragamud, means to speak or something like that. So just Yishlam Laki, something like may it be well for you or may you be well. Elei Ugarit, like the gods of Ugarit. Tagoruki, like guard you or will guard you. Tushalimuki will make you safe. Ummi.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
The Tahuruki, the end of the fifth line, it came from Natsar and became
Yes,
Rein.
exactly. Yes, yes, yes. And the noon has assimilated. Yes, just like it happens in Hebrew or in Akkadian, we have this
Mhm.
noon assimilation, the prima noon verbs. Yep. And it's the third person, but it has tough, as I said.
Mhm.
Okay. Does anyone else want to keep reading, or do you want to move on to the next one? Or I don't know if this is effective in any way, but I guess it's nice to get a feeling of the language. Um, no? So,
I could try.
yeah. Omar, please.
تشلمك أمي تدعك يا عربة لبني شبشي وبني شبشي نارو بيا مئيد تشمخو مئد
Mhm.
وقال توحلا عتن خرد أنا كو عماني شلامو كل لا ومانو ما شلامو عما أمي عمي تفثي بي رقم.
Yeah. So, do you want to try and translate?
I'm not sure
Wow,
it's
amazing.
I'm not sure it's correct. I think he says that he went to the face of Shakash. I think
Yeah.
he
Shapash is
meant to
Shamash.
say
Yeah.
to the east or something
Mhm.
like that. I'm not sure. And Upin Shapash and the face of Shapash on fire or lighted up or something like that. A lot by Meid, be a Meid. You should be happy a lot. I'm not sure what's Tuhlin.
Um, maybe it could be related to Hebrew yahel or something like that, to hope or something like that, but I don't know what it means. Maybe don't wait or something like that.
Okay. And he is assure her that he is very well, and he is hoping that she is very well, and request to tell him about her
Yeah,
well-being.
yeah, exactly. So we can see this word me'od, for example, which is very, very common also in Canaanite and in Ugaritic, also in Akkadian Madu. And thank you, Omar. Yeah, it was very lovely. We
Thank you.
have this key for the object clause. So tidai key or something like that, which is also very Canaanite. We have this verb for to be happy, tashmachu, which is very Canaanite with the sheen instead of the seen because the seen has merged into it. Um, Here it says ma'ad, but maybe they think it should be read ma'ad, just like here, me'od or something like that. We have the al um, for the negation of the imperative, al and like how do we call it? The prohibitive, yes. Um, we have this word atan or something like that, which probably I think means now or something like that, like Hebrew ata or it or something like that, or Aramaic ainit, um, and so forth. So you can see it is very, very similar to Hebrew in every way. Uh, and the other text, which we probably won't be reading, but just to show a nice thing about Ugaritic, well, Ugaritic has been very interesting to scholars, not just because of the language, but also because of the literature and the culture, because it is thought to be the closest literature to some biblical texts. So, for example, poetry, usually. So the most common thing or the most prominent thing about biblical poetry and Ugaritic poetry is the parallelisms. So you can say uh, the same sentence twice, but in different ways, or it's a whole culture to it. Just saying something that repeats, or just saying two similar concepts in two different sentences, and so on. So here in Ugaritic, for example, you can see it that the sky rain oil and the rivers flow with honey or something like that. So that's just a parallelism of something, I don't know. And it is extremely common in the Hebrew biblical poetry and also in the Ugaritic poetry. There are also several difficult words from the Hebrew Bible that were interpreted first by Ugaritic scholars or Ugaritic texts. I will give a nice example. So there is this, wait, sorry. So there's this phrase in Habakkuk, כי עוד חזון למועד ויפח לקץ, in which the word yafech was not really understood. And then from Ugaritic, we learned that yafech is many times parallel to witness or shahid or aid or something like that. So this probably means witness or something like that. So that's just a tiny example of the things that Ugaritic has taught us about the Hebrew Bible. Any questions? Nothing. Well, I don't think I have that much to say about Eblaite, but maybe we'll try. So Ebla was pretty much here, so it's not very far from Ugaritic, which is
You're
around
not
this.
sharing your PowerPoint
Really?
again.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Is it shared now? Good. So Ebla was approximately here, close to Idlib, but not very far from Aleppo of today, and not even that far from Ugarit, but it was older, so about 100 years older. Eblite is essentially a weird dialect of Akkadian, which is attested from the 24th to 23rd century BCE, something like that. It is very, very close to Akkadian on a number of levels, but it is also a little bit far. This was the time that Akkadian was barely written. So it was very new to cuneiform syllabary, and cuneiform syllabary had not entirely developed by this time. So there were a lot of problems and a lot of logograms. So the main problem of scholarship in Eblite and also Old Akkadian is that we don't know enough about these languages because whatever they could write in logograms, they did. So they did not write their language usually. They just drew pictures, which is quite frustrating. But yeah, so some of those similarities between Eblite and Akkadian, especially Old Akkadian. So, for example, first of all, the perfect tense, which does not exist anywhere else in Semitic, but also the distinction between preterite, durative, stative, which doesn't exist either anywhere in Semitic. So the whole verbal system is pretty much the same as it is in Akkadian. There's no internal suffix. There are T stems. There are ton stems. Personal prefixes usually have their own vowel. So like aprus as opposed to iprus. Aprus I have cut. Iprus he has cut. Which in Arabic have the same vowel, taf'al, af'al. For example, but there are also nani and tati pairs. There are datives, so there are dative suffixes and dative pronouns, which do not exist in any other Semitic language. Like Old Akkadian, Eblite has retained, and not like other dialects of Akkadian, Eblite has retained the interdentals and the gutturals. It does not, like Old Akkadian, it does not distinguish hey and het, nor does it distinguish aleph and ain, I think. But no, maybe aleph and ain they do. But hey and het are written usually from by the same signs, but that does not mean necessarily that they have merged them. Probably they have not, just that they were similar enough. And the interdentals are written in their own sign series or sign group. Just like Akkadian, Eblite has a terminative and locative suffix, like suffixes. Just like Akkadian, the stative is Paris with no vowel after that and with the E vowel between the second and third radicals. And just like Akkadian, it has a regular system of applicative. I'm sure that there are many other features. Any questions so far? There really isn't that much to say about Eblite. Some other things. So we have quadriliterals in the end, which we have already seen also in modern South Arabian and Ethio-Semitic. The third feminine plural is always a, like in Ge'ez, and unlike in the other languages which have na, just for the future or for both. There is usually no case in the construct state, just like in Akkadian. We think that there are just the same vowels, a, I, u, e, just like in Akkadian, but that's very hard to say. We have the adjective inflection of utum, utim, shibutum, shibutim for the plurals, which is also quite special and does not exist in other languages. We have the root nadan to give. We have an inflecting relative marker tha, thi, thu, like Old Akkadian. And we have the two common Akkadian prepositions in, later in Akkadian, ina and ana, which we do not know from other languages. Any question? Okay. Some things that are nice about Eblite that are similar to Canaanite and Ugaritic is that it also has this third person prefix conjugation to, like tiparasu or something like that for the third person plural, and tiparasa for the third person. Sorry, that was masculine. This is feminine. It also maybe had a first person plural, sorry, dual, but that is a little bit hard to say and it is disputed. And we have these conjunctions, this conjunction af, which is just like in Canaanite and probably like also the pa in Ugaritic and fa in Arabic. And we have this demonstrative pau, which might be related to the Hebrew po, which is also quite distinct. And there are also several similarities between Eblite and West Semitic. So mainly lexicon, like the words for finger or for molar, which do not appear in Akkadian, but do appear in West Semitic. And the prepositions from, mean, and between bain. These also appear in Eblite, while they do not appear in Akkadian. I think that is pretty much it. There are some weird stuff about Eblite. The first thing is that R and L can sometimes be confused, and sometimes L is written as just 0. Sometimes L is just not written. And maybe, just maybe, there was a ni, na distinction for dual and plural verbs, but that is very disputed. And so I will not say anything more about that. And I think that that is it. So I would like to know if you have any questions. And I would like to know if you want me to continue or just wait for next week to talk about the next topic. Is everyone tired already? Does everyone know Ugaritic? Nothing.
I mean, I think
think
this
we
would, sorry, I think this would possibly be a good time for like a caesura, for a cut,
Mhm.
and then after Christmas to
Yeah, no
continue with the
problem.
next topic.
Yeah, definitely. Omar, do you agree?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Okay, so if you don't have any questions or anything, I will wish you all a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays and Hanukkah or whatever. And thank you for coming. And
I have a question.
yes, Omar.
I was preserved from last week. About the question is about vowel relation in standard Arabic, Hebrew, and Lebanite Arabic. Like in Hebrew, it's katvim, and in Syrian or Lebanon, it's katbin, but
Yes.
it's in standard Arabic katibun or katibin.
Yeah.
Why this vowel relation happen only in colloquial Arabic, not in standard Arabic? It's just like Hebrew.
Wait. I thought I already said something about that. Let's see which class that was. So this phenomenon of vowel syncope, here, is quite common cross-linguistically, not just in Arabic and Hebrew, but in general, and also in the Semitic languages. So you can see, for example, that it exists in Akkadian under some circumstances and rules, like parisu turning into parsu. It is very rare in modern standard Arabic, but as you said, it is quite common in the colloquial Arabic. And you can also see it very well in Hebrew and Aramaic, and to a lesser extent also in modern South Arabian. and rarely also in Ethio-Semitic. But the thing is that, well, if you look at specifically this form katibuna or katibin or kotvim, Hebrew and Aramaic had probably a similar development of vowel syncope. It seems like it is mostly unrelated in the other languages, but in these two languages, it is thought to be somehow connected or similar. Not the same rules exactly, but similar rules. And I guess that would make sense also for the Aramaic substrate in Levantine or even Canaanite substrate in Levantine Arabic to have preserved this. But also, it is a very common process and it could have also happened independently in the different languages. So it's very hard to prove. And there's a very, very large dispute over whether or not there is a distinct Aramaic and or Canaanite substrate in Levantine Arabic. I think there is, but some people think there isn't. So it's a very good question. Unfortunately, I don't know. Any other
Thank
questions?
you. It's also appeared in things like ينفردون in Arabic. It's ينفردوا in colloquial Arabic and يفردوا in Hebrew, I think.
Yes, yes, that's true.
So the same thing.
Yeah.
And another remark about the syntax of Akkadian. You have given us an example. أويلهم رابهم كلبهم أنا أمشه إهود.
Yeah, makes sense.
You said I said that it is quite similar to German. I meant like in even that.
Yes,
Like when
yes,
you put
definitely. Yes. Yes, yes.
is this a common thing in Semitic languages to have this kind of syntax?
No, it exists in modern Ethio-Semitic and in Akkadian. In Akkadian, it is thought to be influenced from Sumerian. In modern Ethio-Semitic, it is thought to be influenced from Cushitic languages or from what we call the Ethiopian Sprachbund. It is not that common in Semitic languages, but it is common in the world's languages in general. So I know that German has this in Nebensätze, but I'm sure there are a lot of languages that have also the default word order of SOV. So I don't know, I think Farsi, maybe I was told, just has the verb always in the end. I don't know. Yeah, Jonathan, yeah. Latin,
Yeah,
okay.
Latin,
Always nice.
Greek, like I think all of them typical Indo-European, like classic Indo-European languages.
Yeah. So I never understand this because I believe the verb has to come earlier in the sentence.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Do you know how easily syntax changes?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Well, like most of the Semitic languages, as we've already seen, have retained a lot of the syntactic features. Like even Akkadian still has the head modifier order. But in modern Ethio-Semitic, we have a different syntax, and in Neo-Aramaic, we have a completely different syntax. And these things do happen. Syntax probably changes slower than phonology, but faster than morphology. So that's what most people think.
It would probably also depend on like how free it is with like case marking and stuff. So because if you don't have anything to mark like the syntactic, like the grammatical relationships, that would
Yes,
probably make
definitely.
the syntax to change.
Yes, definitely. And also agreement. There's a lot of criteria here that somehow interact, and of course contact. It hasn't happened without contact. Like it won't happen just out of nowhere. I don't know. At least in Semitic, I don't know such a thing. Omar, did you have another remark? Sorry.
Another question about the accusative marker in Hebrew 8 before, like, is it common also in other
So
languages, or Semitic languages?
yes. let's see where was this? No. So yes, it is common in other Semitic languages, but only in certain environments, which is the pronouns. So you can see it. So yeah, you have the Hebrew oti, otcha, and so forth. You have this in, for example, modern South Arabian ta, tun, just as a tough, and in
sorry, I mean just eight, like
without the pronoun.
أني أخلتي إتها أخل.
Yeah, so the thing is, the first there was forms like oti, otcha, which or you can see also in Akkadian like the yati, that was probably the origin of this, and then it spread to other pronouns, and then from the pronouns only in Hebrew and Western Aramaic, it has become an independent accusative marker, it or yat. Hebrew and also Phoenician, yeah, iyat. So only in these three languages do you have that separately. But in the other languages, you have
Is it related to the last of the accusative markers at the end, like ta or in Arabic or in Ugaritic?
No, I think it's related to this, to the iya in Arabic. So it comes from iyat, iyati in the first person, singular, and this has spread to other pronouns as well, iya, ya, iyaka, and so forth. And then it became a separate word. It did not happen in Arabic, but it did happen only in Hebrew and in Western Aramaic and Phoenician, probably.
Yeah, I mean, it has happened in Hebrew because Hebrew lost the last vowel of the accusative and
Oh,
أكلت الأكلة.
that's a good question. Yeah, could be. Since it happened only in these three languages, it could be that it happened only following the loss of the accusative suffix. Yeah, that is possible. I don't know.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Anything else? So
May I
thank
have
you.
a
Yeah, no,
very
yeah,
small question?
yeah, no problem.
That you mentioned the internal passive of G of Hebrew. Like you said, there is no internal passive G in Hebrew, right?
Well, not in modern Hebrew. In biblical Hebrew, you can find it, but it's
Yeah,
quite rare. Yeah.
yeah. I just thought about the very few cases, the Paul. Is
Oh
it
no, Paul is the passive participle. So that's different because this is more than a
okay?
this is the regular morpheme of the passive participle, but you don't have the actual G passive of biblical Hebrew is forms such as um when Moses saw the sneh, the bush, and vasne boel veinenu ukal. So you have this veinenu, which is the present negator, and ukal is the present form of the G passive. And this appears sporadically a few times across the Bible, but it's quite not common. And there's also lukach in the past and yukach in the future. So from that, we can deduce the whole paradigm of pu'al, yuf'al. That was the G passive, but this was eventually lost, replaced by the noon, and so forth. But this is not related to the passive participle, or at least I don't think so. So just like in Arabic, you have the fu'ila, but maf'ul, it's like different morphemes.
Okay. Thank
Is
you.
the sorry. Is the my internet connection is bad. Is the internal passive an innovation or a retention?
That's a very good question. So it's common between Central Semitic, so Northwest Semitic, Arabic. Aramaic does not have it, or maybe just relics of it. Arabic and Old South Arabian, and also modern South Arabian has it, but Ethio-Semitic does not have it at all. It has only Taf, and Akkadian does not have it at all. It has only Taf. So I don't know. Maybe an innovation of Proto-Central Semitic, modern South Arabian, maybe not. I don't know. Any other question? Yanjun.
No,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a great holiday and enjoy. And I'll see you. So it's not next week, I understood from the hints, I guess 2 weeks. So enjoy your vacation. Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Bye-bye.